Are You Afraid of the Dark Season 3, titled Ghost Island, is the third season in the newly revived series. This is the second iteration of the Are You Afraid of the Dark series, and it was revived back in 2019. With the first two seasons of the newly revived series getting great reviews, will the third season stack up to its predecessors? Hey, what is up everybody? It's me, Anthony, and I got my Nickelodeon shirt on. You know, I got Alex Mack up in here. If you guys know, then you know. And we're here talking about Are You Afraid of the Dark? A show that I've been meaning to talk about for a long time, like back when it was revived in 2019. Then the pandemic happened, and then season 2 came out in 2021. And I was just really getting my YouTube channel together, you know, so I was just pumping out content that the algorithm wanted. But now I want to do things that I want to do. So I want to talk about Nickelodeon shows that probably nobody is talking about. And I was really excited to talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark Season 3 because it's season 3 of a series that has been revived for the second time, and this time I feel like they really found their footing. It's kind of like, you know, I don't really like saying this, but it's kind of obvious, but it's like the kid version of American Horror Story with the way that they do their seasons. Each season is a different thing, with the first season being the Carnival of Doom and the second season being the Curse of the Shadows. Now we have Ghost Island. And you know, at first I was having some flashbacks of early 2020 with the movie called Fantasy Island. I don't want to talk about that. But like I said, I had high hopes because I like this franchise, this newly revived franchise so far with the first two seasons. So I wanted to check out the third one, and I watched the first 2 episodes, and we got to talk about it because there's a lot of stuff to unpack. So before we get into that, guys, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe to this video. It really helps the channel a lot. It's free. I'm not asking you to subscribe to my Patreon or anything like that, or to just sub to the channel so you can pay for the stuff. No, it's all going to be free. It's probably most likely always going to be free because I'm just that kind of dude. So with that out of the way, let's get into the first and second episode of season 3 of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island. So right off the bat, I think that they introduce and start off this series at a really high level. The production value and like the quality that we get here in the first 30 minutes of this show is probably top tier Are You Afraid of the Dark. It brings the scares, it brings the set design, it brings everything, the CGI, but like I've been seeing in this entire show franchise so far, they really know what the audience wants, the nostalgia audience or the old audience, as I would say, because I'm an old fan. We like the costume designs and the practical effects, and they have that in here in spades. They also have some CGI because, I mean, it's 2022, so we gotta have some CGI, but they do a good mixture of the two. But the first sequence does a good job, like I said, of setting up our expectations for this series, what kind of events and a series of trials our main characters are going to be dealing with. And on from there, we just get some backstory introduction to our members of the Midnight Society. Kayla, she's kind of the group leader here. She has like a troubled past, and she's very curious and cautious of certain things because of what happened to her sister years ago. And they dive more into that in this episode for sure, of like, you know, the death of her sister and how that is affecting her as she goes on this trip with her friends. We then have Leo, who is Kayla's best friend. He's the more confident and outgoing and like the no nonsense kind of guy in the group, and I really like his character. Him and Kayla are probably like my favorite characters in this show, at least the first 2 episodes. I think for me, every time they're on screen, it just elevates it a little bit more. I kind of wish that they were just the only 2 in here, and then everybody else is like supporting characters coming in for a couple episodes, but we'll get into the other characters and how I feel about them a little bit later. Then we have Summer, who is very secretive. She has something to hide. Early on in the episode, you kind of figure out what her secret is, and it's not, that's, you know, it's not really a secret, but this is a teen show, so I have to admit that and have to accept it. This is like not the real 100% target audience for me. You know, they still got some tweenness to their storytelling, and you know, her secret is very teenage stuff. So yeah. Then we have Ferris, who is like the oblivious kind of like Shaggy of the group. That's what I'm going to say. You're the Shaggy of the group, Ferris. And, you know, I don't really like his character. He kind of doesn't bring anything to add any dynamics to the show, at least at the moment. You know, we're 2 episodes in. This feels like one long episode. It's an hour and 30 minutes, so we get a lot of information, a lot of packing into here. But his character and Summer's character, I don't really understand like what they are bringing to the show as of now. Like I said, we're only 2 episodes in. We get the next 2 episodes in August 6th, I think. So we'll see how they shake up and how they add to the show going forward. So that is our main Midnight Society group. And the thing with the Midnight Society group in past seasons, at least the past seasons of this new series, is they kind of explain and kind of just like, you know, tell you right off the bat, these kids are in the Midnight Society. They show them sitting around a campfire or somewhere telling their scary stories, and they kind of explain what the Midnight Society is. In this season, Ghost Island, they kind of just throw it at you and kind of just expect you to believe that these kids are part of the Midnight Society. And, you know, I mean, as somebody has been watching this show for a long time and watched the recent season, I mean, yeah, I know these kids are part of the Midnight Society. Every other season before, the main cast of characters have been part of the Midnight Society. But with this group of kids, I don't know, it makes it really hard for me to believe that they are part of the Midnight Society. I don't know. I know not everybody has to be dressed in like Wednesday Addams and everything, you know, but I just don't get it. And it doesn't help with the editing in this first 2 episodes. It's very sporadic, very all over the place, and it kind of like creates plot holes in this episode as it goes on, because we'll have a scene where they're building up this room 13 in this episode, that this is where all the hotspot, all the paranormal stuff is happening, and then they'll just cut really quickly to kids running on the beach doing kid tween stuff. And they do that as well with the explanation of them being part of the Midnight Society. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. They start talking about things that we know that the Midnight Society characters know a lot about. But with these characters, like I said before, it doesn't really feel that it goes together with them, because we haven't had them sitting around a campfire. There is a scene where they are by like a bonfire, and then they start talking about the Midnight Society. But it comes out of nowhere. It feels kind of forced. It just doesn't feel organic like the other 2 seasons. Again, that could be something just me, and I could totally have just missed something, or you probably in the comments saying dude, they've done this every season, so why are you not liking it now? But like I said, for me, it's just something that feels off, and I wasn't really a fan of. Maybe they can correct it in the last 2 episodes. We'll see. We're also introduced to this character, Max, who becomes part of the Midnight Society, pretty much becomes like an honorary member of the Midnight Society. And there's a lot of stuff with this kid that I can't really reveal because this is a non-spoiler review of the first 2 episodes. But this Max kid is very, very important to the season, and he is pretty much what they revolve the episodes around, this Max kid, and figuring out his past and his background. And I liked it. I liked him as a character. Him and Leo have a very nice moment. It might be cringe to some people, but I thought it was pretty cool. Really good lines of dialogue between them back and forth. And, they're trying to add morals and stuff to this series, add certain, subjects to it, which, some people might think it's coming off as woke or something like that, but I enjoyed it. I liked it, especially if we're talking about a teen show. A lot of the teen shows that I watched when I was a kid, they had messages like that hidden in there, and some people wouldn't really see them if you weren't paying attention, but they were there, and I appreciated that they were there, because as a teenager, we were all teenagers once. We have those struggles and those things that we think are big problems, but in reality, once you start paying taxes and being an adult, you kind of wish you were just having those problems and nothing else. Overall, for me, I think that the first 2 episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Ghost Island, it was okay. I do wish that they had a little bit more focus on the Are You Afraid of the Dark aspect, rather than this whole teenness, teen angst thing that we got going on here. Don't get me wrong, I understand that the audience for this show is not me. You know, I'm just an old millennial dude that is trying to tap into that nostalgia that they are clearly trying to tap into and get me to watch the show, which they succeeded. For me, it just felt a little bit disjointed sometimes. Like I said, the editing isn't as tight as I wish it could be. I feel like it created a little bit of plot holes, like with the whole Midnight Society origin. I wish we had like a little bit of flashback of just them gathering around, telling stories somewhere, and, you know, explaining more a little bit about them being a part of the Midnight Society. And I know that may not be a big thing to some people, and it may not be anything to some people, but for me, it just feels a little bit off, because I feel like the last 2 seasons, they kind of established that, you know, these people are the Midnight Society and they know the rules of the Midnight Society. But again, I can't shake this feeling that these kids just don't fit with the whole Midnight Society thing. But if you are a fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark, particularly the new revived series from 2019 into the present, I think you're going to enjoy this. I think you're going to like some aspects of this show so far. I don't think it's as good as the last 2 seasons. You know, we're only 2 episodes in, but granted, this is only going to be a 4-episode season. The first season was 3 episodes, and the second season was like 6, I believe, and now we have 4. So it's kind of weird. We're going down episodes now, but I'm hopeful that they can turn the ship around a little bit, at least for me, and steer it into the Are You Afraid of the Dark direction. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Are you a fan of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Have you seen the original series? Have you seen the reboot after that in like 1999 to 2000s? And then the current season, are you watching it right now? Do you want to watch it? Does this video make you want to watch it? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter for more information. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, guys, keep watching.